if it's just solely to make great content for, great IP, then shouldn't it just be that and give us what we want, which is an escape from the chaos of the real world,
Fanhood is a fickle thing. I agree with you, and everything should be made for the fan. And why? They're the paying customer.
You're listening to Studio 22.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to leave a like.
Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for more future content.
Welcome to Studio 22. I'm Brock O'Hearn, sitting with my co-host, Will freaking Meldman, the man, the myth, the legend. How's it going, dude? This is a fun one because it's just us.
Yeah, we haven't done one in a while.
Not to say the other ones aren't fun, but this is also fun.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, right?
I have a lot of things I want to talk to you about.
What's first on the list? What do we got?
Stranger Things, Netflix show, little phenomenon. Season 4 is on right now. We're both caught up, except I stayed up late watching the 2 finale episodes. And don't worry, no spoiling, no spoilers, but we will talk about it.
A couple things, because I haven't seen the last 2. I watched the episodes leading up to it. Kind of insane. They crashed Netflix. It's the first streaming series to ever do over 7 billion views in less than a week, which, think about that. 7 billion minutes viewed. Sorry, I had to correct that because that would be insane, even more insane.
And that'd be everyone on the planet.
Everyone on the planet, yeah. But never been done before.
I think they deserve it.
Yeah.
I think they built something incredible. Season 3 was like okay, but then they came back super strong with season 4, and I think they heard the fans of they were just kind of known as kids on bikes riding around solving mysteries, and stakes weren't that high, and this one, I think they really focused more on layered narrative, and making it for more of an adult audience.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy thinking of younger kids watching that, because there are, it's horror. It's a horror show.
Pretty gory, pretty graphic.
Yeah.
I remember putting on the first episode, not knowing what to expect. Like you said, the third season wasn't as didn't hit you as hard. That first episode of season 4 was just what the heck was that?
100%.
It was insane. And like you said, the layered narrative was really great. There's a couple of things that I thought were pretty awesome to come out of it. Running Up the Hill, Kate Bush, her song going to #1 after years and years of not being out there, just because of this song because of this show specifically. And then did you ever see any of those little
what a great scene.
Incredible.
The stakes could not have been higher.
Yeah.
And you did not know what was going to happen.
Yeah. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was amazing. Visually stunning. And then towards the end of the story arc of that season, obviously I haven't seen the last 2 episodes. I really don't know how it ends yet, but a lot of depth in that, and a lot of, unanswered questions getting answered, and showing why all of Stranger Things exists, that whole city, everything.
They do an incredible job of not only involving the past 3 seasons in the story and the plot of this one, but also moving it forward. And I think that's where the layers come from, right?
Yeah.
I like the flashbacks. They remind you of how you got to where you are. Because honestly, it's hard to remember all that.
Yeah.
And they're smart to do that because you want to remember. But you watched it years ago. You're not sure what exact moment they're referring to. But I just really think the writing was the best part. I mean, I'd say maybe the performance is second, but the writing was so on point and incredible.
And the acting was off the charts. What's his name? Eddie. Who's the new character?
Yeah.
Long hair, great dude. That guy is off the charts, dude.
He Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but like I love what they do with this character. Yeah.
Him and then the other one, the other guy, which I don't want to give any spoilers, but that 11 storyline coincides with, and
Yeah.
He's also phenomenal,
Dude.
on top of all the series regulars and everybody else that's already involved. But just it's so fun to watch, and it's such a unique storyline as well. I love little things that they did, like they added in one of Winona Ryder's scenes, the little symbol, the little castle from Beetlejuice. Did you see that? They have these little nuggets throughout the whole series that are
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs, yeah. You really got to look for them, but they're in there. And that's kind of the nice thing about social media is there's people that really go to the depths to discover that and figure those things out. But then you find them and you're like, oh, I didn't even see that,
Dude, the way they can add new characters, make them amazing with the performances and the writing. I mean, what show has done that this well? I mean, I would say Better Call Saul would be one, but that's a prequel. It's not linear. Well, it is linear, but it's before. But yeah, man, like you said, the ability to add new characters and make them actually count and be involved and intertwine them with the old characters and keep the old characters relevant. I mean, dude, it's pretty insane.
There's one thing I want to talk about, but I don't know if it'll be, you'd have to catch it. It's one of the Easter eggs. I don't want it to be a spoiler, but there's a scene with 11 and Will's character, and they're at the skating rink, right? And there's people video cameraing and everything that's going on, right? But then it said the date. So it said the date, and then I discovered this through social media, that date was Will's birthday, and they were on a date, her and her boyfriend, but they forgot that it was Will's birthday. And so he's in the background as a third wheel, kind of sad the whole entire episode, but also seems like.
And they stick with that plot line.
Yeah.
They don't abandon, they set things up and they continue the plot. Like so many shows just like don't do that at all.
Yeah.
Like they follow through on every thread. I obviously am not going to.
Even if it's that minute little detail that you really have to watch to catch, it's all intertwined. It was introduced, 2-3 seasons ago, still intertwined and still plays to the narrative that's current on this new season, and they're doing that throughout every single season. So it's just very well done.
I would love to be in that writer's room and just see like they know everything they did like by heart, right?
It's got to be so fun to work on a show too, where clearly everyone involved on the back end of it is so heavily invested in making sure the story is so great and is done right. And the film, the cinematography, the acting, everything is just top notch. It's fun when people really care, and especially when it's something that not only has had so much success, but regardless if it did or not, it still has that layer of, I care,
It's Netflix's flagship program. And I completely agree with you. Like, I mean, dude, look at what they did with Kenobi on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it looked like not only did they not proofread the script and like check new characters' motivations and all that, it's basically the complete opposite.
Mm.
And it looks like they threw it together on like trying to save money on the budget. It's like, dude, those are the only characters you have left, and they're like the biggest characters.
Yeah.
You have every major big character. Like, put some thought into it. Put some care into this show.
What were some things that you think were missing or lacking in Obi-Wan?
Character motivations, logic, like just basic logic. I think Star Wars knowledge, like some of the things they did that, like Obi-Wan and Leia, like in the OT, the original trilogy, Leia didn't know Obi-Wan. She had like, you can't just make characters become incredibly close and then it just, none of it matches up, dude.
Yeah.
And new characters had no tie and broke canon too and had horrible motivations and like All the side characters were just like there.
I haven't seen Obi-Wan, but was there a scene where somebody didn't know how to turn on the lightsaber correctly or something like that? Was that in Obi-Wan?
There's debate over like, did Luke see a lightsaber when he was? Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about spoiling Obi-Wan. It's been out for a while.
Oh,
but
it's
like,
a spoiler.
I mean, there's a scene where like he's being pursued by someone with a lightsaber, and it's like a child would not forget like running away from an evil person carrying a lightsaber.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You had Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn and Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And you barely use them. That's who it should be about. Like, it's simple. You had it right in front of you.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it, but if you're making a show called Obi-Wan, it should probably be about Obi-Wan, right?
Oh, Obi-Wan's led around by Leia, who's 10, and like saved by brand new side characters that mean like whatever. And I guess more me and Anna, but like you were there.
Yeah.
You were more like, I don't want to. But we were right. You know?
Before, when we did that episode with her, it was before Obi-Wan had come out and there had been some leaks about potential storylines or something like that, right?
All true.
Wild.
All true.
Wild times. Well, Star Wars is an incredible franchise and there's still hope, a new hope.
Yeah, man. It's just tough to get invested when, you know, Boba Fett and Obi-Wan are just butchered.
Yeah.
But, you know.
What do you think that is? Why do you think it's been, you know, why do you think it's gone in this direction with storytelling versus sticking to the original stories that made Star Wars Star Wars?
I think they try to shoe in original characters so they don't have to license the original ones from George Lucas and pay him. I think, you know, their production timeline is like 15, 20 shows. And like, I think they overbook things and which devalues each project they're working on. I think the Obi-Wan, it should have been a film. It was a film. And then they took the script and broke it up, added filler, and made it a show. And it's like, why put it on Disney Plus and treat it like a cheap TV show when, you know what I mean? They like lost faith in making Star Wars films.
Which is so crazy because Star Wars fan base is one, if not the biggest fan base in the world, I think. It revolutionized film.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. They like created the blockbuster, right? I mean, that and then Indiana Jones and but yeah, man, like I don't know.
Well, there's still people out there and new generations and people that still love Star Wars, even young and old.
Yeah.
Filmmakers as well. And I think that there is potential down the line for people to get back to what Star Wars is, you know?
Yeah. Each project has new creatives, new team. Like, you know, I think it's just going to kind of be hit or miss depending on the people involved.
Because I think about it too, like if I was working on a project like that, I'd be so stoked to be a part of the Star Wars franchise, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
And even if it wasn't comparably anywhere near the original stuff, you know, which is hard to get back to. You can't really remake, you know, lightning doesn't strike twice the same place very often, if at all. And I think if you can get back to that though, that's the thing. The formula's there, the story's there, the passion from true Star Wars fans is all there. So you have the audience, you have the narrative. It's just how do you get back to square one and say, look, we've done XYZ over the past 10, 20 years. We've seen the responses from the fans, which is what the content should be made for, because those are the people that are watching and paying and buying. If people start to see these numbers go down on these streaming platforms or in theaters or whatever it is, don't you think it might be the content that's being put out? And then maybe we should readdress and show up again more intelligently and say, unless there's a different agenda there of whatever the content's being put out. But if it's just solely to make great content for, great IP, then shouldn't it just be that and give us what we want, which is an escape from the chaos of the real world,
Fanhood is a fickle thing. I agree with you. And everything should be made for the fan. And why? They're the paying customer.
Yeah.
They're spending money on toys. They're seeing your movies. They're buying posts. They're spending money on your franchise. And like, they're inserting their own agendas into the content, and they want to make their own thing and shoehorn it in. I mean, it's just absurd. It's like Darth Vader's chasing Obi-Wan in a Star Destroyer. It's like a small little ship, and the Star Destroyer, like Obi-Wan takes off in another one, and they argue of like which one they should follow. And it's like, well, you're the Empire. You're the biggest military force in the galaxy. You have other ships that you can call and light speed over to you. You also have hundreds of TIE fighters on this ship that you could send after both. It's like, but then they just like, slowly go after Obi-Wan and let them escape. It's just, they don't know Star Wars. And it's so obvious, and it's just frustrating, man. But
yeah.
But anyway, speaking of Star Wars, Gina Carano went on Joe Rogan.
How was that? I haven't got to see that episode yet.
It was great, man. You'll get around to it at some point. It just came out. But, they talk a lot about how she kind of got canceled and what she did, and her fighting career.
Yeah.
And which was pretty interesting. I liked that part the most. They deep dive into like politics and cancel culture, but it was pretty cool hearing about her fighting history. And Joe even mentions this, like, I don't like watching women fight. And it's not because like I don't think women should fight. It's women are this pristine, godly, divine entity, right? Yeah. Like they're beautiful. But hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Women want to fight.
I'm
for it.
Firm believer that, if that's what somebody wants to do, to support them. It's hard to say with fighting, but as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, if you're willing to step up and do that, it's like women are tough, man. Women, I think, have a much stronger pain tolerance than men.
Oh, absolutely.
There are some real badass, like tough women out there, and then some who are more talented than other men that are trying to do that same thing.
In our military, dude, like
across the board, there's so many different ways for people to rise up, and it's cool to see that. It's obviously like I'm not really getting pleasure out of watching people beat each other's faces in, like women. But it's also a sport. There's a lot of technique. There's a lot of, the mindset you have to have going in, the work you have to put into it. It's my hat is off to that. I respect the hell out of it because, if you want to go get punched in the face, like go do you, because I'm not, I'll do it if the occasion counts for it. But it's not something I'm like openly jumping in front of. So you see that, and then some of those people, Holly Holmes, when she first, beat Ronda Rousey, that thing was just like unbelievable. Ronda, who's so incredibly talented.
Well, Gina really paved the way. She was kind of like the first big star.
Yeah.
And
then look at it too, leading her on to, Mandalorian, and how awesome she was on that too. And to see her as that character, she looked just like,
she was great in that role, man. That was he was great in that role.
Yeah. What was the thing that got her canceled, quote unquote?
One of the things was she posted a tweet of her voting sticker that said, "I voted."
That
she didn't say who. She didn't endorse anyone. Dang. Just said, "I voted." And then another thing was, a pretty like distasteful comparison of her current circumstances of like not being able to speak out, but she used a pretty graphic image. She was trying to make a point, and it wasn't to be taken literally, but it wasn't like a good thing to do, but like to ruin a person's life over that, but it's so great that she's climbing back now, and she has Terror on the Prairie, a new film with the Daily Wire.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and dude, I watched, there's a YouTuber, Drunk 3PO. and he kind of hangs with her at conventions and, helps her set up, and they're friends. And I was watching some of their live streams on the convention. Her line was 3 times as big as any other line at that convention. And there's tons of famous people there, So people and fans love her and will support her no matter what she does. So it's cool to see. It's like corporations try to silence her because she has a different political view, but the fans will support who they love and who they want to support. And she did a great panel.
Yeah.
She was there 3 days.
Yeah.
There's fans, all types of fans showing up for autographs, and it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. I wish it was more of a discussion being had with difference of opinions, right? Where it's not like if I come in with my viewpoints, or whoever I am, for example, come in and this is how I see it. And then somebody else comes over here and they're like, this is how I see it. Instead of it being my way or the highway, or let's cause friction and different like challenge and war and fighting, whatever the thing is, or let me cancel you or whatever it is. Why can't it just be, why do you view this? And why do I view this? Or what's my reasoning behind that? Let's have a discussion about it. And it's hard because some people get very defensive, very aggressive, don't have time or patience or are willing to even listen, to be open to listening. But if you can get to the point of discussion, it's like we're all very similar at the end of the day,
100%.
And we all have problems and challenges. And we go through different things in our lives, we have different trauma, whatever it may be. And there's reasons why somebody got to their viewpoints, whether that's taking on a societal viewpoint and you think that's the right thing to do, or whether that you truly stand behind it because of X, Y, Z, or things that are personally relatable to you. But if we can get to a point where it's like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to have different points of view. That's what makes the world go around. That's what makes it special. That's how we get innovation and growth and
progress.
Exactly.
Yes. Open discourse.
Versus, well, if it's just one way or the other, it's not necessarily a good thing, because it could actually, especially if the one way is not good for the whole, because we don't all fit the one mold, and you hear that too in political views. Like, I don't talk about politics. It's not something that's like my space for not my place to talk about either, because it's not where I don't study it. I don't, go out of my way to, be
I like
involved.
movies.
I like movies. Yeah. I like telling stories. But if you're just one way or the other, well, that's assuming that every human fits that mold. I don't think it makes sense that way, because we're not all wired that way. We're all uniquely different. Like, look how many, there's like 16 different personality types, right? And each one of those have their own intricacies. And then there's all kinds of issues and different ways to be a human, and the way you show up and experiences we've had. Some people have never left their small towns, and other people have traveled the world. And it's,
Dude, there's Republicans that side with Democrats on some issues.
Yeah.
But all we focus on are the one that they don't.
Yeah.
Right. And like you and I, like you said, we're not political. We don't take sides. We're not. But I totally agree with you, dude. Like, open discussion is how a functional society should operate.
I also think that people will adopt ideologies very easily without doing the research or coming to that conclusion themselves. They're like, well, I like this person, or I think this is right because it's left, or because it's right, or because of libertarian, whatever it is.
Right.
So they side with that without actually doing the research of why it is that way, or if it's okay that way. And it's like, and that's the same thing in corporations, company, friendships, relationships, whatever it is. It's what's the root of it? What's the cause? Why am I deciding that is my, ideology? And it just, I don't know. I think some more deep thinking and actual stepping back and taking big looks can help a lot of people, and us showing up not with, rage and anger and, whatever the thing is. If we can step back and be like, look, I'm going to show up from a place of love and understanding and openness. I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear you out. And maybe you have something, because that's what we do. We teach each other, when we learn from each other, and that's how we grow as a people. And I think there's people out there everywhere that everyone has something to offer one way or another. And you never know what that moment's going to be. But if you sit back and you just, only are willing to just have a narrow-minded, closed-line view.
Tunnel
vision. Exactly. You're going to miss a lot. And you're going to miss a lot of the beauty that is being human, being alive,
Totally, man. And like, that's why I like to travel, to literally see different points of view, different ways of living, different points of view. I like learning about different governments. Like when Morton talks about like the Denmark and their government,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
The Queen and the King. And,
yeah, man. Like their country is what, like 5 million people?
Yeah.
So like it's a totally different situation. But I love learning about how different people operate. That's how you grow, like you said. And
well, it's like I used to go to Germany all the time, and I still go from time to time, but for work. And Germans are some of my favorite people to do business with because they're extremely straightforward. They'll tell you exactly like it is. It's not about feelings, not about anything like that. It's, this is what it is. What do we need to do to get it done? And German engineering too, it's like, there's
German
a reason they have
engineering,
but it's those things where I'm like, okay, I love the way that these people that I've done business with in Germany that are German do business, and you adopt it to yourself.
You can pick out work ethic as an admirable quality. You don't have to judge them based off every little thing, but you look for things that you admire, not for differences that you hate.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I totally agree, dude. And there was America was built on compromise. There was the Great Compromise of 1849, Henry Clay, I believe. Spencer, can you look that up for me, please? Look up Henry Clay, the Great Compromise. But I talk about this with Calvin all the time too. Like life is just constantly compromising. And that's what makes me a good producer, is like when you're on a set, every decision is some sort of small compromise or big compromise. He wants A, she wants B. How do you get to C in the middle?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's going to be a little more A's way. Sometimes it's going to be a little more B's way. That's life.
Yeah.
We'll move on to something. I think, we both just want the best thing for the country. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Nicolas Cage's new film.
Oh,
with
you're talking about me, man. Oh, geez.
Yeah, exactly. With Pedro Pascal and your buddy from the show we can't talk about that you filmed.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really enjoyable, fun film.
Break it down for me because I haven't seen it.
So basically, Nick Cage plays himself. He has this hilarious like alter ego that's himself with like leather jacket, makeup. Like, he interacts with his agent Neil Patrick Harris, who's hilarious as an agent.
He's great.
And he basically, the plot is like he's offered $1 million to go to Mallorca in Spain, beautiful place, and just kind of do an appearance for $1 million. And he goes out there and all the stuff goes down. But the guy is like, Pedro Pascal is like a huge fan of his, and they go on adventures. They take LSD. It's hilarious. But yeah, man, I totally recommend it. I think for anyone watching, it's like a really fun, enjoyable film. And if you like acting and kind of an inside look into acting and self-deprecating humor and self-reflexive humor, I think you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. Where's it streaming? What is it?
Where did I watch it? Paramount Plus, I want to say. I think it's Paramount Plus.
Cool. Always like having a good film up on deck,
Yeah. Good comedy. It's like, it's not going to win an Oscar, but it's fun comedy for sure.
Yeah. And we need that.
We do. Comedy is important.
Yeah. World's a lot better with comedy. Imagine if there's no comedy. Imagine what that would be like.
You got to laugh, man.
Oh, dude, that'd be so boring.
KD requesting a trade from Brooklyn. Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn. So does Kyrie. They say they want to go to the same place, but you never know. And like the Nets have control over what the trade happens.
What's the likelihood of them actually being able to get traded to the same team?
Oh, man.
Because that's a big move.
I don't think it'll happen.
You'd have to give a lot to get them two on a new team, right?
You give up the farm.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think it'll happen. I could be wrong. I don't want to say like certainly, but I just have a feeling I don't think it's happening.
There was a lot of beef with him and the Warriors, right? After he left.
So I was at the game where him and Draymond got into the scuffle in the middle of the game.
Wow.
And, it was basically Draymond calling him out for like, I think it was effort based. Like, do you want to be here? What the F? And it was a real, argument. And the energy in the arena was palpable because it was like, wait, this is the Warriors. At the time, we were, I think, 2-time champion, I want to say.
Yeah.
1 or 2-time champion. Like we have a dynasty. Let's not mess this up. Why are we fighting? But yeah, man, we won without him. So there you go.
Yeah.
I knew we could. And I agree with Draymond, like you said on his podcast, like we would not have won the year after he left because we needed time to get Jordan Poole involved and developed and
yep.
Kuminga and Wiseman and Moody, everyone we got. So now we're fully fledged out, and I love the Warriors because Bob Myers and that whole team, like they really build the team out of the draft. And I mean, remember the Memphis game?
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever think that we were gonna didn't have a chance of coming back?
No, I think it's the Warriors, and you got Steph, you got Clay. Like, I mean, even after Clay's injuries and everything, I think there's always a chance. You can't count them out. You know what I mean? But it is to see. It seemed like a massive mountain to climb, but when they get in that flow, man, Draymond, just them three alone, and then you involve all the new guys too, Poole, Wiggins, everybody, Moody. They really got something special, you know. But they also step into their roles, right? Like Draymond is a beast, dude, and when Steph's on, he is on, dude. And it's funny watching because every now and again you see a couple passes missed or this or that, like things are happening on the court, but when they get together, dude, and they start flowing and they get in a rhythm, there's like no stopping them. There's nothing that can get in the way. I just think they're the perfect team, really, you know? And they proved you can overcome anything.
Who are your top 2 players?
My top 2?
Yeah.
Steph and Clay, dude.
I mean, that's a stupid question. Splash Bros.
Yeah.
Who's your third favorite player? That's a better question.
Are you talking about on the Warriors?
Yeah.
I like Draymond.
Damn it.
But let's say outside of that.
Fourth.
Yeah, fourth, right? Dude.
Besides
honestly,
the trio.
I like watching Poole, man. He's so athletic. He's so quick. And he makes these plays sometimes where you're just like, especially watching him develop over the past, year or just over this time watching him, he starts sinking stuff that you're like, that's a Curry shot, man. That's and it's like, I remember when I was young growing up watching, I was a skateboarder, right? And seeing what the ability of people was then. So you start with skateboarding with the Lords of Dogtown, and then even Tony Hawk and all that stuff, but nobody was doing so much street skating. And then that developed. And then from when I was a teenager skateboarding to now, it's like the kids at the skate parks are doing stuff the pros couldn't even do 20 years ago, and you're seeing this progression of people believing and being like, holy crap, that is possible. If that's possible, if they can do it, I can do it. And then if I can do it, maybe I can push the boundaries a little more. And I think you're seeing that evolution in the NBA as well, especially with, with Curry, how many 3-points he's made just in one season alone. You start to see that with Poole, some of the stuff he's doing, Wiggins. Like there's this, people are going to be sinking full court shots left and right, like 5-10 years from now. It's just going to be a thing where it's like, I don't know if the game's going to have to change or what's going to happen, but it's just, there's an evolution of people that we just want to keep going further. And we start to realize that we are capable of more and more and more, the more we start to believe.
That was honestly like one of the best analogies you've ever made, because I remember when Tony Hawk did the 900, right? It was
Crazy.
like unheard of. And now people are just ripping it all the time. And
kids, there's kids that are doing 1080s, man, that are 1240s. Like it's just, what the heck?
And that's what Steph is doing. Like if you actually look at the numbers, I mean, Steph had a season with over 400 threes, which he had more threes in one season than Larry Bird had his entire career.
It's insane.
So like the next closest player is Clay. It's always Steph and Clay way ahead of the pack.
Yeah.
And people don't even,
and they're on the same
the media
team.
doesn't talk about it that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but that's what shows you too. It's like, look at the evolution. These people that were iconic players, that changed the game, the narrative of the game, and the way that people viewed it and the way people played it. Now you've got these guys that are these, maybe, they'll get more credit years down the road, right? Obviously, they've got the championship and they've got so much more to go and so much
We're
more
geared up for next year.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But seeing that evolution of like, maybe that's something that they'll get that credit, years from now, or, the evolution of basketball is going to continue. And you're going to see these new players coming in out of the draft and that are doing things that, imagine being a teenager in high school watching these guys do their thing and even come back from injuries and come back like Clay to do what he does, man. It's just, it's that mindset and his ability to, it opens up doors for people to be like, look, I'm not limited anymore. I'm not going to stop. So now you're going to start getting in the next probably 5 years, crazy draft players, dude. The game is going to get elevated on a whole nother level.
One of my favorite lines early on when Steph was kind of making, starting to make a splash. That was a horrible joke. Was like high school coaches high school coaches across the country are going to like be yelling at their players all the time for taking these like deep threes now.
Yeah.
Because they all want to be Steph.
Yeah.
And
until they start making them.
I totally agree. And right. And like even with Clay, like you made another good point with Clay, like to come back from 2 years of 2 season-ending injuries and then win a championship.
Yeah.
Like that has never happened before, ever.
Unreal.
And I think it speaks to their mental fortitude and just knowing like, if Steph, Clay, and Draymond are all on the court, they can win a championship. And they know that. And like Draymond said, they got to build up the right pieces around them because they can't win it, the 3 of them, right? Like single-handedly. But if they do that, then they're going to be in the running every year until they retire.
Yeah. As long as they're staying healthy and they're getting on the court and getting to work. Who else has a team that's that stacked? I mean, there's people with players like LeBron is a beast, but you think of, the Lakers, you think singularly of LeBron, you think singularly of KD, you don't think like, this is a pack. And this is a team that comes together. It's who else is doing that out there. And it's a team sport, teamwork makes the dream work.
Bob Myers walked by on the plane and Steph, Clay, and Draymond were playing cards together on the flight back home. And he laughed and goes, "You guys still hang out?" And it's like, yeah, like, of course. What do you mean? It's like, no one does that. You played together for over 8 or 10 years.
Yeah.
You're still like hanging out together. And you look at what Brooklyn did with Harden, Kyrie, and KD. I mean, that should have been a championship, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's, you had injuries, but you also just had, they hadn't played together, lack of chemistry. KD and Harden did, but.
Well, that's the thing too. If you get the right chemistry and you get enough heart in there, like you can tell. I mean, obviously anybody who's in the NBA has a lot of heart and they've worked their butts off to get to that point, right? But some people more than others, and some people have a drive or even an ability to as well, but a work ethic. Kobe, second to none. He was there first and he left last. And everyone knows that Mamba mentality, and that just shows you like, look, if you're willing to put in the work, the effort, and you make other people around you better too, rise up with you. It's not just a me and ego trip or it's me versus everyone. It's we're in this together. I want you to be better because it makes me better, And if somebody came along and they were just as good as Kobe, right? Don't you think Kobe would get better than he already was?
Right.
That's the mentality. And I think that
good point.
I think that's, if you really break it down, a way to look at it in our own lives as well is like, look, I want the best of myself. I want to become, and I expect more of myself than anybody else ever could. So that way, when someone else comes in, they're like, I think you should be doing X, Y, Z or whatever. I'm like, I'm already doing it and I'm doing more.
Perfect example. You're training for your multiple film and television roles. And I see what you're eating and working out and doing all that. What do? Start jumping rope, start getting back in the gym and eating way better. I lose like 15 pounds.
Awesome.
And like you can see it from when we first started our podcast to now, I've actually lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
But like in a healthy way, like in, proper diet, exercise.
And that's the thing too. Like, and people don't realize we are habitual creatures. Not everyone realizes this. I mean, I should say. But think about this. Like, so you've got Draymond, Clay, and Steph all on one team, right? Well, they're going to do things that maybe nobody else is doing, or they're going to show up different ways. They're going to train a little different. Whatever. But long story short is the habits of one become the habits of many, and you are who you surround yourself with. So if I have good habits or you have good habits and we're around each other enough, we'll pick them up whether we want to or not, because that's who we are as humans. And it's over. The example, the best one is like, imagine you're trying to get in shape and you've got a friend or at the office, let's say, and you go in and every Friday they bring in donuts, right?
Oh, God.
Exactly. And so you're on point. You're like, okay, maybe the first one, no, whatever. But then, the second week you're like, no, I'm still good, whatever. Third week comes along and then a couple of your coworkers are saying, just have one. It's all good. It's not going to do anything. It's fine. You're like, no, okay, whatever. Fourth week, the whole office is there. Everyone's having donuts. You're tired, you're a little overworked, whatever it is. And what do? You grab one, you grab two, whatever. And that can start the track of, well, now every Friday you're having donuts and you're off your goal now because of the habits of others. You pick them up. Eventually, there's probably going to be an opening that might make you cave. Not everyone. I'm not going to say that for everyone.
All it takes is one little opening, though.
Exactly. So, but if you're around people that are searching for the best version of themselves and whatever those habits are that we create, daily, morning routines or whatever it may be, you'll pick up those things and you'll become better as a result of it. So it's really being aware, having self-awareness, but being aware of who you surround yourself with and what their habits are. And if you can either, help other people or just stay, how steadfast can you stay? Because it's very easy to go the other route, to order too much.
If
dessert.
it's Krispy Kreme, I'm gonna have 5.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's I'm gonna have 12.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Baker's dozen.
I heard yeah, exactly. I heard a Baker's dozen is the fastest way to go to a six pack. So I mean, a 12 pack's fast way to a 6-pack actually. Maybe not a Baker's dozen, just 12. I think if you just have 12, you'd be good.
Yeah, Baker's dozen 13.
It's not true. Although one time,
there's one for the baker.
No, I know absolutely. No, that's not what I was saying. It's not true. The 12 donuts to a 6-pack is not true necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
But I went off-roading with my buddy Ryan Hawk. You know Ryan.
Yeah. Great guy.
We
beautiful dog.
Beautiful dog. Beautiful guy.
Beautiful guy.
So we went off-roading in this Jeep a couple years back, and we ended up afterwards, because it was probably like 6-7 hours just, rock climbing and doing all this stuff. It was so much fun. I got pictures where we're like inches between big rocks trying to squeeze this Jeep through. It was crazy. And
that was fun.
We had In-N-Out and then Krispy Kreme after this whole day, right? And we're like, you know what? Screw it. We're starving. We're just really hungry. Let's treat ourselves. The next day, we both woke up and we're like, bro, are you feeling more shredded today? And we both got more shredded because of that meal. But it was obviously intermittent fasting and all the high calories of just hiking around and
like a big influx. And
exactly,
yeah,
yes. But so there's ways to implement that kind of food into your system and it not hurt you or affect you. Like through the diet you've done.
Like that's what a cheat day is, right? Like 6 days is a metabolic cycle. Day 3 to get it started, 6 to get your body temperature on that wavelength, and if you cheat the 7th day, then it's fine because you'll maintain that rhythm.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I always tell people. Like, I get around a lot of people that say they're cold all the time or whatever, and I run so hot. And I break it down to like, my metabolism's fast. I work out every single day. I eat good. I eat well. Every now and again, I cheat. I'm a big guy. I need even more calories than the average person. But I know that I run hot and I could have a tank top in the snow and feel fine because I'm hot. Like I'm sweating. My internal temperature is a little higher than everyone's. Not everyone's, but people that aren't doing that same thing. And it's exactly that where, it's different strokes for different folks and do whatever works for you. This makes me happy. Also, it's part of my career. It's part of my passion, getting in as good a shape as possible and trying to be as ready as possible so that I don't have to get ready because you've seen it.
Dude, you just like randomly book a giant movie like
the next day.
Oh, dude, I book.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Got to be on set at 4:30, dude. Can't wait. Cool. It's 6
It's
p.m.
crazy how that works, man.
Yeah. But I love that too, because I am.
Oh, that's the gig, right?
I love it in the sense of like sometimes I don't know what's going to happen next. I love structure and I love consistency, but at the same time, there's that like excitement of what is going to happen next, or am I able to just pick up and go and leave everything behind for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, to go create something that I love doing. Because I can be on set for 6 months and I can love every single second of it. It doesn't even have to be working on it. You know?
For sure.
It's just, I love creating. I love storytelling. I love the art of, filmmaking. And it's something I want to do the rest of my life. And that's why, like, I talk to my agent, I talk to my manager, I talk to all these different people, my friends. I would do it even if it didn't pay because I love it.
Dude, like, I wish we were able to shoot in Maui more for the resort.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. At the Resort Movie Official. And www.watchtheresortmovie.com. I wish we were able to stay in Maui forever.
That was such a cool experience. I remember having like
forever.
like a pinch me moment of we were flying around in the helicopter shooting a bunch of content. And I'm sitting here like, is this actually my job? I'm flying around Hawaii.
In the chopper.
In a chopper and getting filmed.
Guess what I was doing when you were in that chopper?
What?
Buying Krispy Kreme for the crew.
Yes.
Remember? I brought it
back.
back.
I remember that.
And it all ties together.
Full circle, dude. Living your dream.
But dude, when you're like, we were filming all night. We're burning calories left and right.
Yeah.
Like you got to just get a treat for the crew and get a sugar blast.
And,
like,
that was one of those moments too where it just raised morale because every one
of
us
did raise morale.
Yeah. And we had days off, right? Heck yeah. We had days off that we turned to days on because we knew we were on a time crunch. We knew we'd never get this location again because it wasn't going to exist after that. The hotel we filmed in got torn down and rebuilt into something else. And it was so beautiful, so unique, and such a great opportunity with that everyone on board, which is not always the case. You're not always going to have talent or grips or whoever it is. They're like, no, this is my day off. Like, I'm not coming into work. Yeah. And for them to rise to the occasion, that's what got us through that film.
They compromised with us. They worked with us.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, so much fun and it's such a great experience, and learned tons on that project and had fun, got to work with great friends, made friends off of that as well. And people we've worked with since as well. So, if you're up for it, go make a movie, guys.
It's funny, dude. Oh man. I worked with Michael Vlamis on, I think, like 3 of my first couple projects. We did The Big Break, which is on Vice, with Gil Freston and Jack Heston.
Great dudes.
Great. And David Arquette. So go check The Big Break out on Vice. It's, funny LA self-reflexive comedy. But yeah, I feel like there was one more. It was The Resort, The Big Break, maybe one other thing that I'm forgetting. But anyway.
Yeah, I remember those 2. I don't remember a third one with him, but I remember watching him as the agent on The Big Break. And I was like,
funny, dude.
This guy's got it.
Yeah, he nailed that role.
And he's like, where am I? I was like, where are you pulling from? He's like, I had an agent that was exactly this guy. He's like, I'm just him.
Yeah.
But so much fun to watch. And he brings a lot of energy and even fun just to, we're spending 3 weeks getting, this movie done in the resort, and me and him became great friends, right? Like, I think that guy gets joy, not only joy, but I think the way his like love language, I guess you could say, is talking crap to him. If you can talk crap to him, he loves you more,
He just likes having fun. And
exactly. So me and him would just go back and forth. I got a ton of BTS footage from that too, but just us, whoever can rip each other the best,
That was a good competition.
Yeah. And he did a couple things he tried to squeeze into the film, but I don't know if they all made it.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I get called Thor every single day, so I'm excited to see this film. I don't know when it comes out very soon, right?
I believe July 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right around then. Like a week.
That's not bad, yeah. I'm curious to see the story, how they're going to progress it even farther,
Taika Waititi directing.
Taika, yeah. He's a beast. You got Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
She looked a little buff. It looked like she'd been working out.
Russell Crowe, Christian Bale.
Yep. which is huge. Both those guys are some of my favorite actors.
Those are, I would say, two of the 3 or 4 biggest movie stars of our generation, for sure. Batman and Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've got some heavy hitters. It's got all the legs. Everyone loves Thor. So we'll see. I mean, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Simona Wolf for being a associate producer on that.
Yeah.
She works her tail off over at Marvel and deserves all of it. She's great.
Yeah, good friend of yours.
Yeah, one of my closest friends' wives, and they are an amazing couple.
Yeah,
Justin and Simona, shout out. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for her, and I think the film is kind of made in that similar Ragnarok vein. So I think people will probably be able to expect some laughs.
Yeah.
And a fun time. Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed watching Chris Hemsworth go from the first Thor to Ragnarok and everything else he's done, honestly, since. I feel like he really stepped into his role, not only as Thor, but also as an actor, watching him develop over a decade, and he's a funny dude. Like, it's fun to watch. It's fun he's a great character. I just watched, what is the name of that film on Netflix? There's a new one.
Extraction?
No, not Extraction. They just had a new one where he played like a pharmaceutical scientist.
Wait, Severance? No.
I have to look it up.
I watched the first episode. Or if it's a movie, I watched like the beginning.
Yeah, when I flew on vacation recently, it's the only one I downloaded, and then I didn't download another one, so I watched it again on the way back.
Oh, wow.
But Spiderhead.
Spiderhead, thank you, Spencer.
Spiderhead, yeah. So I watched Spiderhead with Chris Hemsworth, and he's great in it, dude. It's just
pretty funny.
It's a fun movie, fun film.
A little intense.
A little intense, yeah. It's got some pretty intense moments for sure.
Yeah.
But all in all, man, he just seems like an incredible actor, and he's also representing too the kind of character that I enjoy, that I want to play as well. Is like the leading male who's in great shape, and just plays these characters that are fun.
Not one dimensional.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Not one dimensional, but also like you're having fun and being creative and open there too. But I don't want to quit working out. So the more people that are in that space making those kind of films, the better, in my opinion. And he's done a great job as a leading male, and he's obviously one of the biggest stars in the world. The guy's a stud.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
It just seems
great family man, it looks like. And
yeah, it seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you there. I have a new idea I wanted to run by you. Surprise.
I'm surprised.
I want to read some of our comments.
Comments?
Yeah.
Let's go. Spencer, Will's great. Brock sucks.
Spencer's just ripping us on the side.
Dude, getting an engagement up.
Okay, I got a good one. You ready? This is from our Dude Perfect interview.
Okay.
From YOLO MCM 1316.
Is that you only live once, man crush Monday, something say?
I believe so.
What a great name.
It's pretty cool to see them being interviewed by people like these nowadays that seem very understanding of the guys. Been a proud fan for the past 5 years of Dude Perfect. I appreciate this interview so dang much. Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you, YOLO MCM, for the nice comment. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Those guys are great dudes. They're family guys. They've got great morals, and they look like they just have fun. They found something unique in their own special lane that they created and went to town and made it something huge, something great,
To keep all those videos innovating and exciting and fun, they do a really good job, yeah.
Yeah. Chemistry.
Speaking of chemistry, next comment, Asher. Crazy to see the dudes' solid relationship after 13 years of Dude Perfect. Can't wait for part 2.
Yeah.
Just like you said.
Let's get it right there.
Thank you for the comment, Asher.
Yeah.
We're going to head to Jay Porterfield. Jennifer Selman. Being a physician, this was particularly interesting to me. Thanks for bringing these kinds of guests. Thank you, Jennifer. Dr. Selman.
Yeah. That's what's so fun about our podcast too, is we get to bring in people from all walks of life that are different professions, different outlooks. Jay has such a unique job as well, and he's got so much information. He's a highly intelligent guy as well, and such a kind soul. But that's something that's why I love these things, man, because you can sit down with somebody and then all of a sudden you don't know who's going to be viewing it and is going to take from it. And that's, I always say, even if it's just one person that gets that, defining moment out of their life where they're like, I'm going to take that message from Jay and I'm going to apply it to my own life. And
she's a doctor.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. A doctor would get that out of it, right? I mean, that's all props to Jay for sure.
Yeah. And he works hard and, knows his craft and he's constantly innovating and developing. So hats off.
From JL, nature is the greatest healer. Magnetic, biorhythmic, etheric, solar. I heard sunsets and sunrises are nice. Yeah, for sure. Everything is cyclical and you can look to nature for a lot of healing properties. I sit outside and get sun and take a 10-minute break from work. Yeah. And, work is a cycle, right? I believe every hour you should take a 5-minute break and, get some water, do what you can.
Yeah.
And even if it's just walking around and resting, whatever it is.
Yeah. And that's from one of my favorite books. I've talked about it a few times. It's Powerful Engagement. And they say, fully engaging and then fully disengaging in whatever you're doing. And it leads to all these benefits. And nature as well. You talk about healing, and the term grounding really comes from, taking your shoes off and grounding back with the world, the earth. And it's a huge factor. And sunlight's one of that, air, water, earth.
Hell yeah.
And if you can get all those in there, it's a whole nother thing. But yeah, man, nature's healing. Nature's great. Nature's neat.
We're going to head over to Coach Lee.
Coach Lee, let's go.
From Pie Walker Matt. Coach Lee is quite simply the best. You need to have him back to talk more about breakups. He's helped a lot of people heal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, he's built a large YouTube following and specializes in breakups, right? So
your relationship advice.
Yep. And sitting with him was actually a lot of fun because there was a lot of really great information and perspective that maybe you wouldn't have before. Like even him saying, when you first break up, give him some time. Let him know what it's like to be like without you. Give him that space.
I mean, it was cool for us because I felt like we got free relationship advice for an hour, right? We got to ask kind of our own questions. And, I found some of his videos incredibly intriguing and applicable to my life. And I was able to ask him about one of my favorite videos, and he was so nice to give us advice on air.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people in the gym that have come up to me and they just said, Coach Lee, and because of the podcast.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And they were just and it's been like that with multiple different podcasts,
Wow.
But yeah, we're building something, we're growing it, and we're learning from our guests as well as trying to just share good information with whoever's out there listening. And we're trying to just keep add value basically, but we're having fun, man. And it's cool to see the reactions from people and watch this thing grow, figure it out as we go. But getting people like Coach Lee, which I never would have thought in a million years we'd have a conversation with someone who's a relationship breakup, especially specialist,
What a great guy.
And it turned out great. It was fun.
Yeah, we hope to hang and record more with Coach Lee for sure. Akash Kumar, my God, I love you all three. Please continue to do these podcast sessions with Coach Lee. God bless you all. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will try. As you can tell, we enjoy it, and we'd love to do another one with him. Next comment, Vesta. Living with anxiety is not easy. I used to get those episodes once in a while, and it creates insecurities and other feelings. Thank God I no longer get into that state of mind. I live today as an advocate, preaching positivity and to encourage others to uplift their spirits. This is a great episode. Thank you so much, Vesta. And Anxiety is definitely not easy. I'm with you there. I think as humans, we all have varying degrees of anxiety. And it's good to hear that you were able to, beat some of what you were dealing with. With work, anything is possible. You just keep at it. And thanks for the comment.
Yeah. I heard once that, there's a scale, and on that scale is everything, right? With us, there's anxiety, there's depression, there's whatever it's going to be, but everyone is on the scale. It's just to what degree are you on that scale?
Sure.
And like we were talking about earlier, we're all uniquely different in our own right, and some people are affected differently by certain situations or even hormonal imbalances or whatever it may be. But finding people who have discovered or know tools that help you become better or to deal or to heal or whatever it may be for those situations, it's a constant search and evolution, and it's exciting. We'd have people like Coach Lee on and share more, and just try to make life a little more fun, a little better.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have to suck.
Isabella is here.
Where?
No, that's her name. Coach Lee, OMG. He is so amazing at what he does and so easy on my eyes. I'm subscribing just because you had him on. Oh, thanks for the subscription and the comment. Absolutely. Selma Delic. This is my favorite topic. Thank you for bringing a very wonderful person to your studio and sharing amazing advice from wonderful people. The relationship is teamwork, and a team is a group of people who trust each other. Couldn't agree more. Wouldn't you say, Brock, trust is one of the most important things?
I trust that is true.
Maybe along with communication, like
Yep.
trust in communication,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep. Absolutely. Communication is key.
You want to read some?
Yeah.
Hand off.
Oh, that's nice. Jennifer Selman. Good morning, everyone. Hope Rock had a good first day on set yesterday. That was very sweet. This one's on Jim Nance's episode that we did. And it says, the last 30 minutes of this was something I needed to remind myself of all the positive quotes and positive affirmations. I'm super grateful for the lessons, and I look forward to the next. Antoinette Tastic.
That's a great comment.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Jim had some amazing stories with some incredible lessons about manifesting your goals. I love that.
Yeah. And there's actually a couple comments like that on here. It says, right above that one was, the last 30 minutes of this episode was everything I needed today. The reminder to believe in myself is an absolute blessing. Keep going, keep posting. You guys are lifting people up and spreading positivity. Super grateful. Looking forward to the next one.
Oh, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's cool. That's the plan.
Who was that by?
DP.
DP. Thank you, DP.
Yeah. This one's from JL on Todd Garner's. This is such a vibe. I cannot agree more with him about earning because you've earned it. No doubt he is right. Limiting access does not prioritize or make more exclusive work, but giving the access to someone who wouldn't have shown up another way is a win. Win-win. This is hard-earned wisdom that definitely hits full on truth bombs. That's interesting.
I like that hard-earned wisdom. And with Todd, I mean, that is right on the money. I mean,
Yeah.
The amount of projects he has been a part of is crazy. He is definitely a hard worker that has earned all that. Thank you, Todd, for coming on the show.
Yeah, man. He's done over 170 films in his career. I still like knowing how long it takes to make one film and for it to go from conception to final product. 170 is a lot.
Each film is like its own miracle, right? And like that is a lot of miracles. Man's a miracle worker.
I was just going to say Todd Garner, the Miracle Man.
Miracle Man.
Yes, it was a fun episode, talking about movies, talking about everything we did, and getting to read some of the comments from everybody on, our YouTube. It's a blessing, and I'm super grateful for everyone there. So it's been fun. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for engaging and commenting and everything too. So
Absolutely. If you want your comment read, we will continue to read from our YouTube page and our Instagram. That is the easiest way to get it up there and have it read on air. So thank you guys for engaging, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And hit the bell.
For notifications. I have to have the last word. Thanks for tuning in to Studio 22. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.